lack, so to speak, any positive windfall synchronicity is a blessing of the god, and a hermetic occurrence by every meaning of the term. A theft by a hermetic mind is not only indicative of the cleverness and cunning on the part of the thief, but it is telling of how certain individuals will find a thing which they could be accused of never having earned or sought out by traditional means. As we're beginning to see, there is no concrete form of Hermes, and yet at the same time there is a very clear psychological umbrella of Hermetic traits, which can also provide a definition of the god of the Samothracian mysteries. And he wrote, quote, "Which god reigns over this aspect of immortality? Undoubtedly it is Hermes, the phallic and active one. Proceeding from the wider environment of the Samothracian mysteries, we found the meaning of the combination of those factors which otherwise appeared so difficult to understand in the nature of this god. In this context, Karenyi concludes that Hermes stands, quote, as the active and manifest original source, and at the same time as the prototype of a playfully and nimbly unfolding masculinity."
What does it mean to produce, to be productive in one sense? You know, if I had the ability to give you a definition right now, I would. But I cannot. What I am doing is folding laundry for our family. You know, this is a one load. So there's some kids' clothes, there's some my clothes, you know, some baby clothes, stuff in it like that. And earlier today, this morning, I went on a run. The aftermath you saw. You know, I made my fuel up meal afterwards. It was some arguably overcooked chicken, which I kind of knew going in. And then it was going to be it was like some spuds with some ketchup on it, some carbs, some protein. I'm gonna put the rest of that overcooked chicken in like a spicy soup. I think that'll be good because that'll really help bring some life back into those bad boys. I didn't mean to overcook them. I just cut them. It was chicken we needed to cook the other day. I cut them up, I air fried them, and I was doing something. And so because I was doing something, I kind of forgot about it. But the point being is, being productive doesn't always mean something fun, doesn't mean something bad or boring. But the reason I was thinking about it is when I was running today, I went on I was going to go on a 5K. I ran the other day, 28 minutes for a 5K and some change. It was like 28, like 5. So pretty good for me. And when I was running this morning, it was, I did like a little bit higher effort, 3 kilometers, but at kilometer 2, I was like, what the heck am I doing and why am I doing this? And then it got me thinking, I'm like, well, why am I doing this? Like, what is the point? And the point is to, you know, you're bettering yourself. The point is to improve yourself. The point is, like, why do you do anything? And it kind of, you could boil it down to that. Which I think takes it the wrong way. But if you're looking at it like, okay, why run? Why work out? Why eat healthier? Why limit alcohol? Why do all of these things? It's because I'm trying to improve aspects of my life. My physical health, I want to be able to, my endurance and stamina be back to where I was like just 2 years ago. I'd like to get faster and be able to run at a faster pace. Strength-wise, I'd like to be able to do more pull-ups, be stronger, be healthier long-term, you know, because I'm almost 30. Well, I turned 29 this year, but, you know, I'm going to be 30 next year. And, you know, that stuff comes into play, age and how well you've trained your body and how well you deal with injuries. Because, you know, face it, no matter what age you're going to be in, you're going to have, you know, injuries, you're going to have aches and pains, but you're going to have aches and pains and be functioning and doing a lot of other stuff, or you can have aches and pains and it'd be worse because you're not taking care of yourself. And I don't know where the line gets drawn. I don't know where, you, like, what becomes the point of how much productivity do you need to do? Because until you hit that quota of, my body's in a good spot, my mind's in a good spot, my eating is in a good spot. I don't need to go above and beyond that. Like, the trajectory I'm on with this path is a good one. And that's hard to say. It's different for every person. You can min-max a lot of things. I watch a lot of YouTubers who are, fitness people, and, they've looked good for a long time, but that's their job, is to look good. Their job is to be, fit. For a normal average Joe or everyday person like you and me, if you don't have as much time, how do you be productive? During, I ate, I recorded me eating. I was watching American Esoteric. It's a YouTube video, YouTuber that does stuff on, ancient theology, other religions, stuff like that, cults from back in the day, stuff I like to do. So while I was eating, I was like, well, I'm going to be productive. I'm going to watch that. That's why I included it with this video. Included it with that first part with the meal. Got done with that. Did the dishes from yesterday. Because we do it by hand. It's whatever. It's just, I think as much as it becomes begrudging, like, oh, I don't want to do it. Our dishwasher always sucks, so we never bought a new one. We just use what we have and we do it. And it's really not that big of a deal. It takes like 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes tops, depending on how much is in there. And I watched a YouTube video. It was a funnier one, but I was doing the dishes. I was being productive today, and then I did some stuff for my work. I had to record some videos, really just screen share some stuff. That was not stain treated, so that's just going to be gross, and that's fine. But there is a level, again, like I was saying, that at what point do you get too focused on how productive you're being to where you're not having fun? I think part of how you make being productive fun is enjoying what it is to do. You got to enjoy the process of getting better. It's the same thing with competitive fighting games. It's the same thing with anything competitive. You enjoy the process of learning. So not every match you'll win. You're going to lose some, and some are going to be harder losses than others, as in you might lose to something really stupid that would be something you would normally never lose to, but for whatever reason you're off and then you lose. So that kind of sucks. Versus a loss where, maybe it's a matchup you've never had before and you've learned, like, okay, so this character does that. My character doesn't beat this. Now I know. And that's a good loss, a good learning loss. But not every loss can be like that. That's just, you can always glean something from it. Sometimes it's, even the stupid losses, maybe you just were, cocky. It's hard to say. Sometimes characters are just better than what yours is. That you need to outplay it. But that goes into the journey and the process of your physical life and your productivity in your everyday life outside of and work. And in the word productivity and my whole idea of producing and being productive, I know is going to be more corporate-y to a lot of people, and that's just what you think of because you may be working in a world where it's all your productivity, your rate, all of this. Like where are your numbers, Mason? Where are the numbers, Mason? But it's less of that. It's more of is the days that you are applying yourself when you are doing something, whether it is a hobby or it is a skill or you're working out, eating, are you really thinking about what is it doing? Are you really trying to do your best to be the best version of you in every aspect with all the stuff you're doing? Are you eating relatively good meals? Are you making it mostly yourself? Or are you doing a bunch of fast food? I'm not going to shame you for you're drinking a Coke Zero. I did it yesterday, I did it today. But I'll shame you, I'm not going to shame you, but thinking about, if all I'm eating is McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King, and I feel like crap, the first thing to look at is maybe switch that out for some slightly better food, stuff you have to make, and that's a productive change. That is being productive, because you're allowing your life to be, better, because you're fueling it with better ingredients. And the first step is going from like super processed food to, just meat and stuff, vegetables from the grocery store. And then once you get into a spot where you can kind of be picky about it, you start buying the nicer meat, the nicer vegetables that's, sourced a little bit better. If you have really what I would recommend, and I can't do that right now, but if you have a farmer you live close to, just get the meat from him. What is going on here, dude? And that would be the best option. Because then you see the farmer, you know him, you can the meat is been lived a good life. I say the meat, but the cows or everything, the chicken, eggs. There's no middleman. There's no Kroger. There's no high-end processing. The worst you might have to do is have someone process the meat so it's ready for you for the freezer. And that's probably the biggest thing that our issue is. We don't have a freezer like that. We don't have a chest-high deep freezer that I can put a bunch of meat in. Yeah, we don't, because we don't have a garage, because we're in a condo. That being said, the idea that everything has to be a positive production doesn't mean you don't have to live your life where at every waking moment you're doing something and it has to always be a positive and productive outcome for your life. It could be a day where you can have a lazy day every now and then, and I don't think that's a big issue. But I think when you're looking at certain tasks and when you're doing them, if you are like me, who used to be a little bit more fit and you're trying to get back into it because of kids and schedules and everything is just it's a lot of excuses, but it's like, well, how do I break through that? What mindset do I have to get back into where I was? And that's when you look at the quality of the stuff you're doing. It's like, well, when I go on a run, am I really pushing myself? If I'm lifting, am I really pushing myself? Am I really being productive with the time here with this workout? Am I doing, if I'm doing pull-ups, am I doing 5 or 6 kind of pull-ups? Or am I going to full range of motion, doing all the way until I have to, to failure? Yeah, to failure. That's how long it's been. For some weird pants. Forever. Okay. For my workouts, and I'm not tracking calories. I relatively know how much protein I'm eating, but there's definitely days where I don't eat well, and I either eat very little or I overeat, like the other day. And trying to mitigate that is hard when you're not putting the most effort into planning your diet, or not diet, but your meal plan. Because if I'm trying to work out hard, I do need to eat hard. And if I'm going to run every day, if I'm going to hike every day, if I'm going to try to do all this stuff, you need to be able to fuel your body. You can't be running on fumes. But I say that, but I'm not going to be able to run and hike every day. Today I ran 3 kilometers at a good high pace, walked 1. This doesn't work, so that's fine. So, but I wanted to make this video, and I'm stringing it all together because I want us to talk about, the productivity of it. The productivity of it. I want to talk about that just because you are doing small tasks or small things, and even if you're running but not that fast, it's still being productive. But if you really want to take it to that next step, you have to think about, well, how do I make this not more efficient per se, but what do I need to do to actually feel like I'm getting real world results out of the effort I'm putting in? And then you have to think about the other end, like I said earlier. how is this something I want to put this much effort into to it becomes, an active part of my lifestyle? Wake up, run, wake up, lift, wake up, train in fighting games, whatever you have to do to stay on top of whatever you're doing. And realizing that, there's a finite amount of time that you get if you're a working adult, and you don't always have time to do everything you want to do within reason. So, like my advice would be, don't have kids. If that's going to be something you're worried about. Second of all, that's it. You really just don't have the kids, and then it's a little easier. Once you have kids and you already had like a routine, it just depends on the job. A lot of these influencers and people on the internet go like, oh, it'll be hard when kids are, and they're like showing a video of them setting up and they're running and they're doing their miles with their kids. I'm like, yeah, but what's your actual job? Is your job Instagram and YouTube? Then yeah, there's no reason you shouldn't be able to get your workout in. I have to drive 30 minutes to an office, work there from like 10 to 7, get back, eat my meal, hang out with the kids for an hour, they go to bed, hang out with my wife for like 30, 40 minutes before she falls asleep, and then I have an hour to really get something going. I even hear right now, there's a little baby cough upstairs. She may have been awoken from her slumber, from a nap, and that cuts short the video. Oh, that is it. She actually is awake. Oh, well. You get my point. So I said all of that really to say, just because you should be productive and focus on how to be more productive in things you like to do does not mean that's the basis of all life. Being productive in every aspect of your life isn't the end all be all. But having the ability to figure out where to start from and what things you want to improve on, and learning the joy of improving and production is good. Again, the corporate speak of production is not kind of what I want to focus on. I want to focus on more of the general purpose of something you're not good at right now, getting better at it, and then putting time away to, get it to a good state where you feel happy about it, whether that be, related to a hobby, a skill, an activity, whatever. The mental, the physical, the spiritual, and then part of the physical is activities. But, if it's something where you feel like you're not in a good shape anymore, you're not physically where you used to be, well, start walking again, and then work your way into running and lifting some weights. Do some body weight stuff. Calisthenics is a crazy good workout plan and movement to get behind. If you can control your body, do pull-ups and muscle-ups and stuff like that, that's pretty cool strength. And that carries you pretty far into the weight realm as well. And then, if it's something like you want to be better at something you're doing, well, just learn. Instead of just sitting down and doing it, like you're just kind of clocking in, you got to lock in. Do some research, figure out something that what is it that you're doing wrong that makes what you like the hobby you're doing not fun, and then learn it and work on it. Because really, all aspects of life come down to that. Is it something you can improve? How do you do it? Is there resources to help you? And then implementing it into your life. And I think the main takeaway is, don't overdo it with yourself and be like, oh, I have like these 10 things I like doing. I'm going to get really good at these 10 things. How about we start with one thing? Get consistent at one thing. and then we can start working up to 2 and 3. Because when you overdo it, and as someone who's an overdoer like that, like whenever I run, I get into a good running spree, and then I'll be like, I want to do like 3 5Ks this week, and then on the third 5K, my knee is just abysmal. And then then it hurts my lifting, and then it hurts me at work, and there's a lot of repercussions to doing it, overdoing it. When if I do the way I'm doing it now, where I run my 5K, I do some lower runs in distance, but I'm doing it higher pace because I'm trying to build my pace up and work those together, then I shouldn't have issues. Plus I'm doing that rehab with that elliptical that I was eating on earlier today when I was moving my feet backwards. It's good for my knees, so I like using that. But that's it. I just wanted to make it seem less over. You got to do all this stuff in the first part of this video, but you really don't. I mean, really, you just got to do something. Just get started. Get moving on one aspect. Again, it can be mental, it can be physical. If you're maybe lacking in vocabulary that you want to use to feel smart, or your handwriting is not very good, well then just set some time aside, start practicing, start improving. And I would say handwriting is a pretty good one to get. My handwriting is piss poor. I actually probably should do that, because handwriting, if you're like applications, writing a letter, your handwriting says a lot about you. So if your handwriting is garbage, it's not good. If I had to get my job based on my handwriting, I don't know if I would have been able to muster up my good handwriting that I used to do in college and high school to get it. So that's it.